Okay, welcome back. I hope you've got all of your pistons put together. Let's take a look at this and make sure it's running properly. If you make the crankshaft go around, all of the pistons should go as expected. So let's expand the display pane and on the engine block, make it transparent and then click in white space. So this way it makes it easier to see all of the components inside, and we can grab part of the crankshaft. Takes a little practice to get this to go smoothly, but seeing it all work together should be rewarding. Okay, now from here, let's turn the engine block back to shaded display. And let's start now by applying the cylinder head. Grab it from your Windows Explorer window and drag it into the assembly. This is the side of the cylinder head that should be facing down, so let's turn that around, face it down, and then the camshaft is going to go in these, and it is going to need to be on the inside, so we're going to have to turn that around because these are the spark plug holes. So we've got this kind of pre-assembled now. It's in the correct orientation, and we just need to apply some mates. We've been applying face-to-face mates, which will work great in cases where we don't have draft on the parts. And on a casting like this in real life, you're going to have draft. But I want to show a different way that you can mate parts like this together. And it's a little bit faster, although it could also be considered trickier, meaning that it might result in more problems down the road. So although it's a faster way of doing it, it's also somewhat risky. To do this, we just select on corresponding edges. It doesn't sound very risky, but if you were to go back through and put fillets or edge breaks on these corners, all of the mates would have to be fixed. By mating edges, it only takes two mates to completely define a part like this. The cylinder head is now in place. The next part that we're going to need to put in is the camshaft. And again, we'll just grab the camshaft from Windows Explorer and drag it into the assembly window. Alt drag places this right here. We also need the split journal bushing, so we'll get that from Windows Explorer, drag it in, and we might have put this in before the camshaft. So let's just slide the camshaft down, hold down Alt, grab the outside edge, and drag this into place and drop it. Now create 3 more copies by Control drag, Control drag, Control drag, always going back to the same one to Control drag, and then Alt grab the edge, snap it into place. Alt, grab the edge, snap it into place. Goes backwards like that, hit Tab after dropping Alt, because the combination Alt-Tab is going to switch windows on you. Alt-Drag, drop Alt, hit Tab. Put the camshaft back into place. You're going to have to get a very big hammer to get that camshaft through those bushings, but the name is split journal bushing, so they must be split. The next part we're going to need is the camshaft retainer. Just drag that in, and again, we're going to need a few copies of this. Control drag, Control drag, Control drag. 4 of these all together. Flip the part over so you can see the bottom side. Hold down Alt, grab this edge, snap it here, hit Tab. Alt, and snap. Pull this part up, Alt, grab this edge, snap it into place, drop Alt, hit Tab, move the part out of the way a little bit, Alt, drag onto that hole and drop. Grab the edge with Alt, drop it onto this edge, grab the hole with Alt, and snap it onto that hole. Flip this part over. Same process. Alt, grab the edge, snap it to this edge, Alt, grab this hole, grab the edge that time. Let's move this over. Alt, grab the hole, drag it to this hole, snap, let it go, and green check. That's a lot of work to get these things in place, but that's what we had to do. The next thing we need to put together is the rocker assembly. And let's start a brand new assembly for this. Before we go ahead, let's save this file and save it out as practice rocker assembly. And the parts we're going to need here are the rocker arm pin, the rocker arm spring. So let's start by pulling in the rocker arm first. We'll snap that to the origin. We'll bring in the hex bolt AI. AI stands for ANSI inch, and just pull in this configuration in the middle. We'll call that good. And then the rocker arm pin, rocker spring, and the roller pin, and finally the roller. Now let's zoom out, see what we've got here. Some of these parts we can pull off to the side for the time being. Let's put the pin in. We're going to need a copy of that. So Control drag, so we've got 2 pins, and then Alt drag so we can put it in the hole. Accept that. Alt drag to put this one in the hole. Now we'll have to center up those pins. We grab the right plane of the pin and the right plane of the assembly, mate those together, we're good. And now the right plane of the other pin and the right plane of the assembly, and that pin is now good. I'm not going to worry about locating them rotationally at this point. Let's turn off the origins so we're not overwhelmed by that. And let's place the main pin here. Click on the outside, that's good. On the end of face, and the end face, and that's good. And now we're going to need the roller, which is down here. We're going to need 2 of these. You can't control drag if you're in the mate dialog, so get out of the mate dialog and control drag. And then Alt drag just to make them concentric. Alt drag, make it concentric. Now, if you find yourself with a lot of things expanded, you can right-click on the top-level name of the assembly and go to Collapse Items. That will collapse all of the parts so that all you see is the part names. We might take a moment to reorganize here. We can put the rollers together, and that'll put the roller pins together, and everything else is single parts. Okay, so now the roller, the right plane, and the right plane of the assembly. Mate those together to get everything centered up. Then the second roller, the right plane, and the assembly right plane, we'll get those centered up as well. Now we've put a spring in here, and we really didn't need to. So let's get rid of the rocker spring. That rocker spring will come back into play when we need the valve body. So we'll delete that. Let's now put the bolt through the hole in here. So let's Alt drag, and we'll put that head up, hit Tab. And then we'll assign a distance from the rocker arm pin top to the top of the bolt head with a mate. And instead of a coincident, we'll make that a distance mate and accept that. We'll continue this in the next lesson.